Shocking General Hospital twist. Dex returns from the dead as Five Poppies Resort becomes a deadly battleground. In a jaw-dropping turn of events that will leave General Hospital fans absolutely stunned, the peaceful Croatian getaway of Five Poppies Resort and Spa is about to transform into a blood-soaked battleground where love, betrayal, and survival collide in the most explosive way possible. The argument that changes everything. The tension at Five Poppies Resort reaches its breaking point when Jocelyn Jax and her WSB partner Vaughn find themselves in a heated argument that will prove to be far more dangerous than either could have imagined. What starts as a professional disagreement quickly escalates into something much more personal, with emotions running high between the two agents, who have been dancing around their undeniable attraction for months. The luxury resort, with its cutting-edge spa treatments and private sand beach, provides the perfect facade for what's about to become a nightmare scenario. As Joss and Vaughn's voices rise in the confines of their resort room, neither realizes that deadly forces are already moving against them, turning their mission into a fight for their very lives. Their argument centers on mission protocols and the growing romantic tension that threatens to compromise their professional partnership. Vaughn, ever the by-the-book agent, insists they maintain their cover and stick to Brennan's original plan. But Jocelyn, driven by her determination to uncover the truth about the mysterious organization they're tracking, pushes for a more aggressive approach that could expose them both. Death strikes without warning. The heated exchange is suddenly interrupted by the most terrifying sound imaginable. The door bursting open as a masked stranger lunges directly at Vaughn with murderous intent. The attacker's hands wrap around Vaughn's throat with deadly precision, clearly intent on silencing the WSB agent permanently. The assault is swift, brutal, and leaves no doubt that this is no random attack. Someone has been watching them, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Jocelyn's training kicks in immediately as she witnesses her partner fighting for his life. Without hesitation, she draws her concealed weapon and makes the split-second decision that will haunt her forever. The gunshot echoes through the resort room like thunder, and the mysterious attacker drops to the floor, his lifeless eyes staring at nothing. Joss has killed before, but this time feels different, more personal, more desperate. The brief moment of relief that follows the stranger's death is shattered almost immediately, as more figures appear in the doorway, their weapons already drawn and aimed directly at the two WSB agents. The resort room erupts in gunfire as Jocelyn and Vaughn dive for cover, bullets splintering the elegant furniture and shattering the peaceful ambience of their Croatian hideaway. A desperate flight for survival. Realizing they're outnumbered and outgunned, Jocelyn and Vaughn make the tactical decision to split up, hoping to confuse their attackers and increase their chances of survival. It's a dangerous gamble, but their only option as more armed figures flood into the resort, clearly part of a coordinated assault designed to eliminate them both. Vaughn heads toward the resort's main complex, using his knowledge of the building's layout to evade the pursuing gunmen. Meanwhile, Jocelyn takes a different route, her heart pounding as she navigates the luxurious corridors that have suddenly become a deadly maze. Each shadow could hide another assassin, each corner could be her last. The sounds of gunfire echo throughout Five Poppies Resort as other guests flee in terror, not understanding that they've been caught in the crossfire of an international espionage operation. The peaceful Croatian retreat has become a war zone, and Jocelyn finds herself completely alone, cut off from her partner and surrounded by enemies who seem to know exactly who she is and why she's there. The impossible reunion. After what feels like hours of desperate hiding, Jocelyn finally finds what appears to be a safe room in the resort's lower level. Her breathing is ragged, her hands still shaking from the adrenaline of the firefight. When she feels a hand gently touch her shoulder, every instinct screams danger as she spins around, ready to fight for her life one more time. But the face that greets her in the dim light is one she thought she would never see again. Dex Heller, the man she loved with all her heart. The man whose death shattered her world and drove her to seek revenge by joining the WSB. For a moment, time stops completely as Jocelyn stares into the eyes of the person she mourned, grieved for, and never expected to hold again. The emotional impact hits her like a physical blow. This is Dex, her Dex, alive and real and standing before her. When everyone believes he's been dead for over a year, the questions flood her mind faster than she can process them. How is this possible? Where has he been? Why didn't he contact her? But there's no time for answers as Dex quickly explains that they need to move immediately if they want to survive. Secrets revealed in the underground. Dex leads Jocelyn through a hidden passage she never would have found on her own, descending into what appears to be an underground bunker system that exists far below the resort's elegant facade. The sophisticated hideout is clearly designed for exactly this type of emergency, complete with surveillance equipment, medical supplies, and enough provisions to last for days. Once they're safely secured behind reinforced doors, the truth finally begins to emerge. Dex explains that his death was an elaborate deception orchestrated by a mysterious organization that operates in the shadows of international espionage. This group, whose name and true purpose remain classified even from him, staged his murder at General Hospital, using advanced medical techniques to simulate death so convincingly that even the doctors were fooled. The digitalis injection that supposedly killed him was actually a carefully controlled dose, designed to create the appearance of cardiac arrest while preserving his brain function. Within hours of being pronounced dead, Dex was secretly extracted from the morgue and transported to a secure facility, where he was revived and slowly nursed back to health. The entire operation was designed to remove him from his old life completely, making him available for missions that required someone who officially doesn't exist. For the past year, Dex has been working deep undercover assignments for this shadowy organization, unable to contact anyone from his previous life, including Jocelyn. The pain of staying away from her, of letting her believe he was dead, has been the hardest part of his new existence. But the organization's rules are absolute. Any contact with his former life would not only blow his cover, but put everyone he cares about in mortal danger. Love conquers all obstacles. The revelation that Dex has been alive this entire time, suffering through the same separation that destroyed Jocelyn's world, creates an emotional storm that neither can resist. All the grief, anger, love, and longing that has built up over the months of separation explodes in a passionate kiss that speaks louder than any words could ever express. Their embrace is desperate and fierce, a declaration that death itself couldn't destroy what they feel for each other. In this underground bunker, surrounded by danger and uncertainty, they find the one thing that has remained constant through all their trials: their unshakable love. The kiss deepens as they hold each other with the intensity of people who have been given an impossible second chance. But even in this moment of reunion, they both know that their time is limited. Vaughn is still somewhere in the resort, possibly captured or worse, and the mysterious attackers are undoubtedly searching for Jocelyn. The organization that faked Dex's death has its own agenda, and being discovered here could compromise everything he's worked for. During his year in the shadows, the race against time begins. As their passionate reunion reluctantly ends, Dex and Jocelyn quickly formulate a plan to rescue Vaughn and escape Five Poppies Resort before their enemies can close the trap completely. Dex's year of training with the mysterious organization has given him access to resources and techniques that even the WSB doesn't possess, but they'll need every advantage to survive what's coming. The underground bunker system connects to various parts of the resort, giving them potential routes to reach Vaughn without being detected. However, Dex warns that their enemies are likely professionals who won't be easily fooled by conventional tactics. This mission will require them to trust each other completely and use every skill they've learned in their respective training. Their plan is dangerous and desperate: infiltrate the resort's main complex, locate Vaughn, neutralize any remaining threats, and escape Croatia before reinforcements arrive. But now they're not just fighting for their mission or even their lives. They're fighting for their future together, for the chance to reclaim the love that was stolen from them by forces beyond their control. The question that remains is whether their reunion will be permanent, or if the dangerous world of international espionage will tear them apart once again. The stage is set for an explosive conclusion that will determine not only who survives Five Poppies Resort, but whether true love can triumph over the deadly games played by shadow organizations that treat human lives as expendable assets in their global chess match. Next, we will learn about the explosive secrets unraveling in Port Charles, where Michael Corinthos remains blissfully ignorant of his uncle Drew Kane's sinister scheme to sabotage him and secure custody of Wiley and Amelia for Willow Tate. Deep within the tangled web of family betrayals on General Hospital, Michael Corinthos continues to operate in the dark about the ruthless tactics his own uncle, Drew Kane, devised to tip the scales in Willow Tate's favor during their heated custody battle over their young children, Wiley and Amelia Corinthos. Drew's underhanded plot involved coercing Dr. Portia Robinson through blackmail to tamper with Michael's blood work, fabricating results that would brand him as a dangerous opioid addict unfit for parenthood. While Portia confided this disturbing attempt to her spouse, Curtis Ashford, the truth hasn't yet reached Michael's ears, though Curtis, as a steadfast ally, seems poised to drop the bombshell imminently. To infuse this with fresh inventive flair, envision Curtis overhearing a cryptic phone call between Drew and a shady lab technician, confirming the blackmail's depth with forged documents hidden in a secure clinic vault, adding layers of evidence that could later serve as ammunition in the escalating feud. This expanded perspective sharpens the focus on how such deceptions erode the Corinthos family's fragile trust, highlighting Drew's willingness to exploit medical integrity for personal gain, and setting the stage for Michael's inevitable awakening. As the drama intensifies, Curtis Ashford, fresh from yet another tense showdown with Drew that exposes more of his manipulative nature, resolves to pull Michael aside and lay bare the full extent of Drew's treacherous intentions. Curtis would emphasize how Drew operates without boundaries, sinking to despicable lows to achieve his objectives, painting a vivid picture of a man driven by unchecked ambition. Upon hearing this revelation, Michael's fury would ignite like wildfire, propelling him to swear an unbreakable oath to dismantle Drew's world piece by piece, ensuring his uncle faces monumental consequences for targeting his family. Harnessing his vast resources and clout within the Corinthos empire, Michael would orchestrate a calculated takedown, flooding media outlets with damning exposes that reveal Drew's extreme measures to anyone who will listen. Culminating in a high-profile press conference, Michael would publicly eviscerate Drew, detailing every sordid detail of the blackmail and fraud, leaving no stone unturned in his quest for justice. Drew, seething with rage, would watch helplessly as his carefully curated public persona crumbles under the scrutiny, especially since his attorney Martin Gray's previous spin efforts now prove utterly futile. Against this fresh onslaught, inventing additional elements for depth, imagine Michael enlisting a team of private investigators to unearth deleted emails from Drew's congressional server, proving the blackmail extended to multiple contacts, which he dramatically unveils during the conference, complete with projected slides and witness statements from anonymous clinic staff. This detailed breakdown underscores the raw power dynamics at play, illustrating Michael's transformation from unsuspecting victim to relentless avenger, forever altering the family's power structure. Compounding Drew's woes, Michael wouldn't stop at the blackmail revelation. He'd also shine a merciless spotlight on Drew's psychological torment of young Wiley, recounting how Drew deliberately poisoned the child's mind with harmful insinuations during vulnerable moments, actions that no compassionate observer could forgive. With these accusations broadcast far and wide, public sentiment would sour irreversibly against Drew, transforming him from a respected figure into a pariah whose every move invites disdain. Drew's congressional tenure, already precarious, would face intense scrutiny as constituents and political watchdogs demand accountability, questioning how someone with such a blatant disregard for ethics could hold a seat of power. The backlash would swell into a tidal wave, culminating in Drew's abrupt ousting from office, a humiliating fall engineered in part by Michael's behind-the-scenes maneuvering, with influential lobbyists and donors who pull strings to seal his fate. Stunned by this reversal, Drew would pinpoint Michael as the architect of his downfall, his mind reeling from the loss of status and authority. To add inventive twists, picture a special congressional hearing where leaked audio of Drew's blackmail threats plays on national news, prompting ethics committees to vote unanimously for his removal, while Michael discreetly funds advocacy groups that amplify the scandal through targeted ad campaigns. This closer examination reveals the precarious nature of Drew's ambitions, showing how one exposed lie can cascade into a career-ending avalanche, forcing him to confront the ruins of his once promising political ascent. Fueled by this devastating blow, Drew's vengeful instincts would surge to new heights, stripping away any remnants of restraint as he plots to sabotage Michael in return, aiming to strip him of his parental rights and shatter his family unit. Yet, with the scales now tipped, Michael stays perpetually ahead, anticipating Drew's every desperate gambit through a network of informants and strategic alliances that keep him informed and protected. Drew's escalating madness would lead to impulsive blunders, each one chipping away at his remaining assets and alliances, until Michael methodically strips him of everything: his influence, his freedom, and perhaps even his last shreds of dignity, mirroring the way Drew once stole Willow from under his nose. In the end, Drew's complete unraveling would spark widespread celebration among those he's wronged, marking the triumphant close of his reign of terror in Port Charles. Expanding with creative inventions, Consider Drew attempting a last-ditch alliance with a shadowy underworld figure to frame Michael for corporate espionage, only for it to backfire when Michael's tech-savvy team traces the plot back to Drew, resulting in federal charges that land him in hot water with the FBI. This thorough dissection emphasizes the poetic justice of Drew's demise, where his own vindictiveness becomes the weapon that seals his fate, allowing Michael to reclaim control and protect his loved ones from further harm. What do you think, fellow fans? Will Curtis finally spill the beans to Michael about Drew's nefarious scheme? Could this be the catalyst for Michael to obliterate Drew's world once and for all? And in the grand scheme of Port Charles chaos, will Drew truly lose it all and receive the comeuppance he so richly deserves? Next, we will learn about the shadowy suspicions swirling around Dr. Portia Robinson's budding alliance with the enigmatic newcomer Dr. Isaiah Gannon, which could spell disaster for her already fragile world. In the high-tension corridors of General Hospital, whispers are growing louder that Dr. Portia Robinson's increasing dependence on the hospital's fresh-faced physician Dr. Isaiah Gannon might ultimately lead to her spectacular downfall, as his seemingly flawless support during her rocky marriage to Curtis Ashford and the lingering shadows of Drew Quartermain's ruthless blackmail scheme raises red flags. Among vigilant fans, viewers are feeling a palpable sense of discomfort watching Isaiah step in as Portia's unwavering pillar, offering solace when Curtis wavered on recommitting to their vows and vowing to stand by her side, even as her prestigious role as co-chief of staff hangs in the balance amid potential scandals. This level of altruism strikes many as suspiciously ideal, igniting theories that beneath his charismatic exterior lurks a concealed agenda, designed to ensnare Portia in a labyrinth of deceit and control. To weave in inventive new threads, picture Isaiah subtly arranging accidental late-night shifts together, where he shares fabricated anecdotes from his supposed travels abroad, drawing Portia deeper into his confidence while planting subtle doubts about Curtis's loyalty. Through veiled comments about past relationships he's witnessed crumbling under similar strains, this enriched detail spotlights how Isaiah's timely interventions exploit Portia's emotional voids, potentially positioning him as a puppet master in a plot that could unravel her professional standing and personal life, all while fans debate if his charm is genuine empathy or a calculated facade masking ulterior motives. Portia's current state of fragility has propelled her to seek refuge in Isaiah's reliable companionship, particularly during moments when Curtis's absence left her isolated and adrift, fostering a bond that now has the audience scrutinizing every gesture for signs of foul play. His compassionate gestures, like providing a listening ear after Curtis expressed doubts about salvaging their union, combined with his steadfast backing in the workplace amid the blackmail's repercussions, have amplified concerns about what truly drives him. Given that Isaiah only materialized in Port Charles in August 2024, his scant backstory fuels rampant conjecture. Could he be a covert operative, linked to Drew's web of intrigue, or perhaps nursing a private fixation on Portia that dates back to some undisclosed encounter? In her medical school days, her growing faith in his unbiased counsel might veil the inherent dangers, leaving her oblivious to the possibility that his empathy is a strategic ploy to erode her defenses and secure her unwavering trust. Inventing additional layers for a fuller picture, envision Isaiah gifting Portia a custom medical journal inscribed with motivational quotes tailored to her struggles, a gesture that appears thoughtful but secretly includes hidden references to her vulnerabilities, like allusions to family secrets he's somehow gleaned from overheard conversations, thereby deepening her reliance while subtly steering her decisions toward isolation from her inner circle. This detailed expansion illuminates the precarious tightrope Portia walks, where vulnerability meets opportunity, and Isaiah's outsider status amplifies the mystery, prompting fans to question if his integration into her life is serendipity or a meticulously orchestrated infiltration. As Isaiah solidifies his role as Portia's go-to confidant, the rumor mill is churning with fears that he could capitalize on her heightened emotional fragility to advance his own shadowy objectives, turning her gratitude into a tool for manipulation. Enthusiasts are highlighting his noticeable detachment from the rest of the hospital team, speculating that this solitude allows him to sow discord aimed at weakening Curtis's position, or even casting aspersions on Trina Robinson and Stella Henry through whispered insinuations during private chats. His pattern of dispensing advice during high-stress shifts, such as suggesting ways to navigate family tensions that inadvertently heighten Portia's insecurities, borders on intrusive, hinting at a deliberate overreach. Meanwhile, Jordan Ashford, who still carries a torch for Curtis, might pick up on Isaiah's encroaching presence and attempt to sound the alarm. Yet Portia's appreciation for his support could muffle these cautions, blinding her to the brewing storm. Is Isaiah masterminding a subtle coup within the hospital hierarchy? Or are these suspicions merely the product of overactive imaginations, fueled by Port Charles's history of betrayals? Adding creative inventions to enhance the narrative, consider Isaiah anonymously tipping off a hospital gossip blog with half-truths about Curtis's past indiscretions, framed to make Portia doubt her reconciliation efforts, all while positioning himself as the neutral advisor who just happens to be there when the news breaks, thereby escalating the tension and potentially fracturing alliances, like Trina's trust in her mother's judgment. This in-depth view underscores the escalating gossip's foundation in observable patterns, where Isaiah's isolation and targeted interactions suggest a calculated strategy to exploit Portia's weaknesses, raising the stakes for her emotional and professional stability. The intensifying connection between Portia and Isaiah threatens to ignite fresh chaos in her tentatively mending marriage to Curtis, potentially leading to acts of treachery or total devastation born from misplaced faith in this enigmatic figure, diverging from the deceptions that previously eroded her relationships as hidden truths about Trina's paternity. This new dynamic introduces an external wildcard that could splinter her family unit even more profoundly, drawing in outsiders who disrupt the delicate balance she's fighting to restore. There's an unshakable intuition among observers that Isaiah's fascination with Portia forms the bait of an inescapable snare, one that lures her in with promises of understanding only to clamp shut when she least expects it, leaving her entangled in regret and isolation. To invent novel elements for greater depth, imagine a pivotal scene where Isaiah coincidentally uncovers a forged document related to the blackmail scandal, presenting it to Portia as evidence of Curtis's hidden involvement, which turns out to be a plant designed to drive a permanent wedge, complete with timestamps manipulated to align with their marital low points. This elaborated exploration captures the essence of how Portia's deepening entanglement could precipitate irreversible fallout, transforming her reliance into a catalyst for betrayal that echoes the soap's tradition of trust-shattering twists, ultimately forcing her to confront whether Isaiah is a true ally or the architect of her impending ruin. What are your thoughts on this developing intrigue? Do you suspect Isaiah's motives are as pure as they seem, or is he setting Portia up for a heartbreaking fall? Share your predictions in the comments, and keep watching for more twists from General Hospital.